Welcome back, everybody. Stress never takes a break, which is a bummer, especially before we get to the holiday season, where we know the pressure is going to increase. Picking up new strategies to cope can be really beneficial. Austin-based psychologist and author Dr. Andrea Zeddies is here with tips today. And first of all, we're happy to see you again.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Dr. Andrea, good to see you.
Me.
Yeah. All right, just remind everybody a little bit about your pedigree. You've been working with both kids and adults for a long time.
Yeah, for over 20 years. So I started with doing testing with kids on the spectrum and for ADHD and things like that. And now I've transitioned to seeing mostly adults, mostly parents. So yeah, it's been a good transition.
And full circle, really, because you were helping the kids.
Yep.
And now you're helping the parents be good parents.
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Okay, so let's talk about stress. We all experience it. It is part of the human condition. But what is actually happening? What's the definition of it? And what do our bodies do in reaction to it?
So stress is a normal reaction to triggers in our environment. And so it can be both physiological and emotional. So so it could be, typical stressors are going to be like work, finances, family stressors, things like that. But the body and the brain doesn't really know the difference. Whether you see a bear in the woods and your boss yells at you, the brain is going to react pretty much the same way, depending on the level of the stressor.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that's really interesting that our brains can't tell the difference between what's happening physically in the outside world and what's just happening up here.
Right, because it's a survival kind of mechanism in the brain that that will tell us when we need to be stressed.
Okay, you've got this little faux brain here to show off to us.
This brain, so it has the two hemispheres, and so it opens up. And
do we not need this guy?
We don't need this side. It's the same on both sides, but this is just showing like the the cut in the middle. So what happens when we're stressed is that we go into this tiny little part here called the amygdala. Mm-hmm. The amygdala is the source of our emotional reactions. Mm-hmm. And it is also the part that I call it the dinosaur brain, because it's all about survival. So if, say, you're in the workplace and you have something stressful happen there, most people will go immediately into that amygdala part of the brain, and they're going to have a reaction, right? So you have an alarm that goes off, and then you're going to try to resist that in some way. And so then you have the fight or the flight, which, you're going to fight the bear, you're going to run away, you're going to freeze and not know what to do. Or there's a new one called fawn, which is actually where we try to placate other people, or we try to please others.
That's me.
In order to calm.
When you say it, I'm like, whoop, that leads up. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we all do this. This is common for everyone. And so if we don't intervene, at this point where we are in the resistance part of resisting the trigger, then we become exhausted.
Yeah.
And then the circle or the cycle just goes around and around and around and around.
I'm so glad you said that, because I have seen this model of a brain before, because I have panic disorder.
Okay.
And I have been told that basically a feedback loop has been created and strengthened over time, because my dinosaur brain freaks out. You're in danger.
Yes.
And when you solve it, you think, okay, and now I'm safe. And my brain did the right thing by freaking out. Mm-hmm. And so it can be really hard to break that cycle.
For sure.
Lots of work that needs to happen. So let's talk about some tools to cope, because hopefully people don't have to get to the point that I've gotten to.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Let's talk about how important, just the things that the doctor always says actually are.
Yeah, well, the doctor is going to tell you, you need to get some exercise, you need to get the right amount of sleep and nutrition, of course, and those things are super important. It's not always easy to implement those things right away. Of course, there's plenty of TikToks and there's plenty of Pinterest ideas for nutrition and exercise and things like that. But the main thing is to just get started with one of those things at least.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, but then The breath work piece you said is actually the one that we can have a lot of control over.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't realize how beneficial it can be.
That's right. So breath work is actually our main tool for dealing with stress and anxiety. And the breath work, I just want to say on this model here, so we have the amygdala, but the breath work is going to bring us into this frontal and prefrontal cortex part of the brain. So when we're in this mode here, we can't really think straight, we can't make rational decisions.
Dinosaur.
But then when we do our breath work, we can get into our rational, decision-making part of the brain. And so the breath work, the one that I usually recommend to my clients is called the 4-4-4 breath. I think we've done it here before. So you breathe in through your nose for 4, you hold it for 4, and then exhale through your mouth for 4. Now I tell people to do it a total of 4 times and then to breathe normally for the rest of 5 minutes. So you're going to set aside a 5-minute breathing session in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. And if you do this consistently over at least 6 weeks, it actually triggers the same neurotransmitters in the brain that an anti-anxiety medication would be working on. So it's so powerful. You can do it anytime you need it. And I tell people, like, if you're in the line at the grocery store and you're getting frustrated, do it there. If you're sitting down to take a test, do it there. Nobody knows what you're doing. It's this beautiful internal tool that we all have, and it's just available. 24/7.
Very convenient to us, and it's part of our natural way of calming ourselves down, which I think is really cool.
Exactly.
We just have a few seconds left, so I want to make sure we talk about your last point, which is the importance of being in nature, because flowers can actually be anti-anxiety as well.
That's right. Yeah, there have been several studies, Harvard study showing that having flowers around can decrease your stress levels, decreases cortisol, decreases anxiety and depression. We can step outside at any point and breathe in fresh air, look at some trees and flowers, go to the botanical gardens, or just walk down your street. And that's another great stress reliever. I was going to say, because I think you have some screaming coming up.
I know. We have Scream Austin Therapy Club, coming up next.
Such a great release.
Yeah.
Screaming is another way of using your breath, actually, to do that deep exhale and to really relieve that stress.
The doctor has officially signed off on it. That's really telling us something.
I love that.
We'll have to leave it there, but we can't wait to visit with you next time. And I actually feel calmer after you and I have talked, like just doing that 1-4-4-4 breath and the way that we're talking about kind of reframing things for ourselves, I think is really important. Dr. Zeddies, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right. Go to AndreaZeddies.com where you can learn more about Andrea's offerings, including the fact that she's taking patients.